Horrible Henry. Henry was the only son of the big mayor in the loomiest town, and the Christmas parties held at this house, well, they were some of the best in the world. But there was a catch. You must bring a present for Henry. And Henry was difficult to please. He sneered at the brand new PS5 and Nintendo Switch, difficult to get in a small town as it was. He ripped up the lovingly handcrafted teddy bears, throwing their stuffing all over the floor. He scribbled all over everyone's Christmas cards he was given and threw them straight into the dustbin.
I want presents from Santa. Santa is the best,
Henry screeched. The townspeople shook their heads helplessly, regretting they'd even come. The mayor smiled nervously over his wine. He'll grow out of it, he whispered weakly, as if it would make anyone else feel better about it. That night, as the star on the Christmas tree burned bright, Henry slept with a smile on his face, dreaming of all the presents he would get tomorrow. Then somebody shook him awake. Right as the clock rang midnight, Henry opened his bleary eyes to see a fat shadow looming over him. He had a white beard and was dressed in red.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Henry, my dear.
His laughter danced around the room, and upon hearing it, Henry shot out of bed.
Santa Claus?
Asked Henry.
Yes, my boy. I have come to bring you to the North Pole as a special surprise.
Is it because I'm a good boy?
Asked Henry hopefully. Santa simply smiled and laughed again.
Ho, ho, ho!
And gestured to Henry to follow him. They came to the snow-covered rooftops where his red sleigh was waiting. Reindeer pawed the roof, ready to go. The journey to the North Pole was simply magical. Cold wind whipped his face and the reindeer seemed to dance as they flew through the air. Henry watched Santa unwrap his big brown sack with gloved hands and threw presents down every chimney. A few times he even let Henry do it, and Henry felt very important indeed. Finally, they arrived at the North Pole. Snow fell lightly, covering the ground in a silky white blanket. A swarm of elves came out and gathered around the sleigh, staring at Henry with wide eyes. Henry got out of the sleigh and smiled and waved at all the elves. Suddenly, Henry felt a sharp pain appear in his back. He collapsed forward into the snow, and unable to move, he yelled out to Santa for help.
Santa, what's happening?
Santa knelt down next to Henry and slowly removed the knife he had stuck in his back. As Santa knelt in the crimson red snow, he looked up and smiled at all the cheering elves around him. Santa then pulled a little jingle bell from his pocket and began to ring it. Henry, still unable to move, lying face down in the snow, quickly realized this wasn't a jingle bell Santa was playing. It was the dinner bell.
Ah!